Hello, my Teaserking family. All right, let's try this again. I apologize. I really get a little bit pissed about uh, I really get pissed about these interruptions where the internet keeps like cutting out. And I wouldn't mind it if it was just a temporary thing, but I don't know if I lose it or not. I don't want to talk for an hour and a half and teach, and then but nobody sees it because it got wiped out the first minute. I do think if it's a short one, it comes back, we're okay. All right, so let's go back to what we were talking about. First, we start with gold. And as I was showing you, it ended at 30.85. The last half hour, it went up 3 points, but it's good news. It's on an uptick. And silver 34.13. So what's the difference? Why is gold up and silver down? Why is there this 90-to-1 ratio that apparently nobody can explain but me? Well, if we understand derivatives and options, we don't understand them that well, but we do understand they manipulate the price. Gold's a tier 1, Basel III. They have to settle the physical. So as I say in Trading Places, when Eddie Murphy says, I'm going to sell the orange juice at 142, all the guys come over to buy. Without the buys, he can't sell it. You have to have buyers. And in the gold market, when they short, the buyers come in but they say, I want physical gold. I don't want paper. I don't want money. And in Eddie Murphy, it's not like they used orange juice. They paid in paper. Right, they owed money, and in gold, people are saying, "I don't want money; it's worthless. I want physical." And therefore, now the problem. So gold, they're scared to do short derivatives because then on the other end, the buyers want physical, which they don't have, and they can't pay it because there's not any more physical to get. It's already soaked up like the Super Bowl tickets, right? The 70,000 are gone. Now you got to go after the 70,000 people that have already bought the ticket. You've got to go after all the people that already own the gold because there's not any gold left to go and just pick up some. Yeah, for us, there's a few ounces here and there at our gold stores, our jewelry stores. But that's it. It's not, we're buying ounces, quarter ounces. They're buying tons of big gold bars, and there just isn't any out there. So keep that in mind. But silver is not doing Basel III right now. They will, I think, July 1st, but right now they're not. What does that mean? It means that when they do the short on silver, the buyers cannot, they might ask for physical, but they don't have to deliver the physical. Gold, because of Basel III, JP Morgan has to deliver the gold, but not in silver. They don't have to deliver the silver, and they're 5 years behind and 30,000 tons behind, but they don't have to deliver it yet. July 1st, Basel III comes in, they will have to deliver it. So that's why you see 90-to-1, and everybody's like, oh, I don't know why. Well, it's simple. They have to settle the gold, so the gold goes to the moon because they don't want to do too many shorts because they can't pay it off, and there's too much demand by all the BRICS countries to buy the gold. So now when everybody goes and does these derivatives, they go, I want delivery of the physical. And they might do it in silver, but they don't have to. So silver hasn't done the Basel III yet. July 1st it has, and that's when we should see it $500-$600 an ounce. The real price, what movie is that from? From Ocean's 12. The real egg is on the train from France or whatever, going to Italy. That's where the real egg is. No, I think it's going from Italy to France. The real price of silver is nowhere close to this. So it's kind of a leap of faith that we're doing, knowing we know what's happening is bullshit. We know the real price is much higher, so we're going to buy as much as we can, and we're just going to wait for COMEX to blow up, which it will. So as I was trying to show you, so I was going through my cards yesterday. So I have my best cards in the safe, but I can only put so many cards in the safe. Then I have my secondary cards. This is a secondary card, a Drew Brees. This is a Topps Chrome refractor, and there's only 9.99 of them, right? So at first, ungraded doesn't have a value. Graded, however, it has a nice value, another 20,000. Again, it's a 10, but this is perfectly centered. It should be fine, unless it's a little. The refractor might scratch a little or something, which you don't really pay attention to, but otherwise the card's perfect. So I find a $20,000, but we know that's the price because that's what's on eBay. That's what the free market says. I'm going to sell the card, and there's a buyer, 20 grand. Sell, buy, 20 grand. We know the real price of this. We don't know is the real price of silver. We know what COMEX is telling us, which we know is a bullshit price. I love how they try to get away with it. It's totally illegal. It should be a free market. It's not. So how is that legal? They're price fixing, which is illegal. So the real price of Drew Brees is 20 grand. The real price of silver, we don't know what it is. We know it's up here, but we don't know what it is. But the fake price, the COMEX price, is $34.13. So if I went to my guy's store today and went and bought 10 ounces, it would be 36 and a quarter, and it cost me $360 for 10 ounces, which each ounce is worth more than the 360. That's the beauty of it. And the store owner has no clue. Oh, I sell it $2 over premium. You're selling $1,000 ounce coin for $36. It's like you're just too stupid to be in business. But even if he knows, if me and you were in business, we would also have to sell it for $36.13. Not because we want to, not because we don't know, but everybody else, all our competition, is even more stupid than we are, and they're selling it for the $36.13. They're selling it for $2. So basically, they get together, they set the premium $2 over spot. They have no idea spot's controlled and bullshit, and so they're selling you $1,000 ounce pieces for $36, and so we take advantage of it. That's the advantage of knowing Austrian economics. Everybody else is like, well, look how they present it. It's 90 to 1, the price of gold to silver. Okay. It can't be that. But it is because it's price fixed. So you're looking at a model of a free market that has not existed ever. You don't know what the price of silver is. You don't know that silver will run twice as fast as gold. You don't know that it'll be volatile. You only know what happened in the derivative market, the price fixing market. That's all you know. And that, my friends, is variable. Okay. When I talk about trend analysis, I talk about it's hard to do it in football because the variables are changing. Now you got whatchamacallit. You got Daniels. Okay, you didn't have him the year before. Now you got Penix. You didn't even have him last year. You got Bo Nix. You got Caleb. You got Drake May. Your variables have changed, so you cannot do a technical and a trend analysis on those teams. And because of all the coaching changes, you can't even do it on the coaches because you get new coaches. There's something going on in the culture that everybody needs everything immediately. If you go to People want Bitcoin because it went up to 100,000, even though it's 82 or 83,000 now, and it's going down. People see that it's moving. They don't know why, and they want to make 100 grand. They go into the stocks and we'll buy these stocks, and we don't care if this Apple's moving, and we don't care what the PE ratio is, which is really how you're supposed to play it. Anything over a 25 or 30 PE ratio, you don't want to buy. Yeah, but Apple's at $120 a share. We want to buy it. I saw one yesterday. Goldman Sachs was like $900 a share, and I'm like, you've got to be kidding. They're about to go out. Everybody will be broke holding bank stocks because they're all going to get fucked with the derivatives that they hold when they have to come due and get all the gold and silver, which they can't get. There's no silver left. And so that's the point of the whole variable thing that I talk about. So 90-1 silver to gold doesn't mean anything. Silver is being held down, and gold is now, because of the variables changing to now it's a Basel III, where they have to settle. They're not as reluctant to do the short derivatives, the short options. They want the price to go down, and there's too much activity with all the BRICS banks buying the gold, so they can't. So it's going way up, but silver's not there yet. Silver will do what gold's doing once we're Basel III, but notice they didn't Basel III silver. Why not? Profit, good morning. There's still one guy who has a perfect bracket so far in the March Madness contest. He has Duke, Michigan State, Tennessee, and Florida all advancing. Okay. So basically, you don't know about silver, right? Because silver, we don't know what it is, right? We know, we don't know what this is. We know this is 20,000. That's a fact. That's on eBay. We don't know what silver is. What is silver? But we know it's much higher than $34. So we keep buying it, waiting for the real market to appear and go to here. Look at gold. Gold was 2,000 an ounce. And what did we do? Then it went 2,200, 24, 26, 28. It's still not here. It's still going up the elevator, but it's still being bought. So we haven't reached this price yet on gold. That price is going to be so high because the dollar has no value. And if the dollar has no value, now you're buying gold for necessity, as opposed to, this is fun. I happen to get a Breeze rookie card. It's a refractor. It's limited. He's a great quarterback. So there's demand for it, right? Because I want it, and hopefully I make some money on it. Just like a Rolex, you buy because you want to have a Rolex. And you buy a Mercedes because you want a Mercedes, or you buy a Ferrari. But you're not doing that with gold. You're not buying gold because you want gold. You're doing it now out of necessity. The boat's sinking. That's why I use the Titanic. The boat's sinking. The necessity is to get on the lifeboat. This is gone. This is gone. This is sinking. Now the necessity is to get into gold and silver to save yourself from this sinking. So now gold is not the same asset or silver. Now they're highly demanded because that's the only option. They are now monopolies. And we know what happens with monopolies. They go to the moon. So this is what's happening with this. So gold being Basel III, you have to get out of money. And most of the world, all the BRICS countries sees it. Thailand joined BRICS. So now you got more people joining BRICS. And when they join BRICS, they trade. They don't use the US dollar. Why would they? It's not worth anything. Trump does not understand this. He wants to tariff. What are you tariffing? You're tariffing a dollar that has no value. What What the hell are you doing? Trump doesn't get the dollar has no value. The great Judy Shelton doesn't get that. Well, we'll have 50-year treasuries. What the fuck you want 50-year treasuries for? I think what she's trying to say is, look, we can't balance our budget because between the debt, the military spend, all the pensions for the government employees, as well as all the government salaries, because that's got to come from somewhere, and Social Security and Medicare, and all the. So you have all these things that you can't get lower. We can't balance our budget. That's why they're doing tariffs. They think they can make more money from tariffs than they can make from income tax. I don't think so, but maybe. Tariffs never worked. So, well, they worked in the early 1800s. That was the first. There was no income tax until 1914 in America. We did just fine. Oh, by the way, it was gold-backed currency, no income tax, and that was it. And when they had the Civil War, they printed money to pay for the war, not the gold. They used greenbacks, the North, and they inflated them to zero, and the South had their money. So they each created money to pay for the war, because wars are very expensive. You got to have all the equipment and guns and bullets and feed the men and all that stuff. You got to get them nice uniforms. So you have to do that in order to pay for the war. And there was no central bank, so they did use a little bit of tariffs to pay when the South would ship cotton to England. They did tariff England a little bit. So it's just a sales tax, basically, on you're buying our cotton and other products. So the need for gold and silver is huge, which forces the price up because they're very, very limited. So I don't buy the volatility on silver at all. You can't track it on a trend analysis chart. As I said, you got Michael Penix, you got Jalen Daniels now. How are you gonna trend him? You can't go back 5 years on Washington and use it. You can only use the last year. And now you can start a trend analysis. Everything remains the same this year. Now you got 2 years of Daniels, and now we know how to bet him. Oh, he's a home favorite, and they always do good, or they're really good dogs, which I would think they would be. Mostly they're going to be really good against weak defenses like the Lions, and they'll be really bad against Philadelphia's type of defense. They'll probably handle Dallas and the Giants very easily. But that's what you have. So you can't use the technical analysis, which is what they're trying to do with gold and silver, which doesn't work. So silver's very volatile. That's bullshit. Physical silver, you have no idea because you don't even know what this is. You don't even know what the real value is. And I'm tired of hearing it's the dollar going down, not gold going up. No, it is gold going up, but it is the dollar going down. The dollar has no value. So let's just call it what it is. The dollar's lost 99%. I'll call it 100% of its value. The dollar's gone. So how can the dollar be going down and making gold go up? It makes no sense. And then if gold's going up, why isn't silver going up? Again, it makes no sense. They're independent. The dollar going down is the dollar going down. You're valuing gold in dollars, but the dollar's gone. So right now you're not. You're valuing gold because of demand. Pure and simple. Supply and demand. That's what it is. Adam Smith. The more demand for gold, the higher the price. The fact the dollar is worthless is meaningless. And then why isn't silver going up then? The dollar's going down, gold's going up because of that. See, that's where they're all wrong. The dollar's going up because of demand. Just like a line movement in football, when a line goes from 5 to 7, Was the dollar going down, making the line go up? No, the line's going up because of demand betting on that team. That's what's happening. So this is the whole point of it. You're that's what you're looking at. So that's why it's very hard. And it's very hard for me to watch most of these things from the gold experts who are fucking clueless. I'm finding most of the world are Keynesians, and I'm an Austrian, and it's very difficult to talk to most of the Keynesians. Very, very difficult because they're wrong, but they don't even know they're wrong. And if you tell them, oh, you should be buying gold, they look at you like you're Chinese, and you're like, okay, fuck, I don't know what else. Well, okay, fine, lose your money. They don't understand the dollar's worthless. Their stocks were going to go get crushed. Their houses will lose value, but it's okay. The whole key is just changing it into a gold-backed currency, and you're fine. But we don't have any gold. We can't do that. All right, let's go on to part 2. So let's look at the NCAA last night. We had 4 games. We have Michigan State under 144.5, and we won. It was 143 on a lucky shot at the end. It was like 110, and then all of a sudden, like you figure, oh, this is way under, and then they barely get it. So let's see. So Michigan State wins 73-70, 143. We're under 144 as a winner. We have Kentucky plus 4.5. They get blown out by Tennessee, 78-65. So again, we're one. I keep going 1-1. It's disgusting. Auburn over Michigan, 78-65. I have Michigan plus 8.5. That loses. No, I didn't think that was that out of it. I didn't think Auburn was that good, but Michigan, their guards are terrible. They have 2 big men, which are very good. It's funny, BYU's got a guy from Russia, and I think Michigan's got a guy from Russia. All of a sudden, the Russians are learning basketball instead of hockey. But Auburn's got a good guard. Auburn's not the number 1 team. They're not beating Duke, and they're not beating Alabama. Michigan, their guards were terrible. There were so many bad turnovers, and they can't shoot. They keep making these strange passes that have they're just like, they're hyper. They're not good players. They shouldn't even be in college basketball. I don't know why they are. The big men are very good, but not the guards. And had I known that, I would have never bet on Michigan plus the 8.5. But again, I'm not watching any very much of this. And then the big 5-star was Houston under 133, which wins 62-60, a 122. That was the 5-star. So more importantly, that won. So we went 2-2, but we hit the 5-star. Houston under. Houston's always going to be an under. I'm surprised Purdue played them so tough, but 62-60, Houston does advance. So in your guys' thing, your guy doesn't even have Houston. Who does he have? Tennessee. He's got Tennessee beating Houston. That's a mistake. Duke. Let's see. So it's going to be what? Michigan, Auburn, and Michigan State. I'm not too sold on Michigan State. They looked pretty shitty yesterday. And then he's got Tennessee beating Houston. That's not going to happen. Duke and Florida. That's today's games. Right. We have 2 games. Florida, Texas Tech. They should win. Duke, Bama. That's going to be a tough game for that. Look at the over-under on this game. It's 174.5. Well, I'm not fucking around. I'm going over on Alabama over 174. And let's go Florida over 158. That's today's game. So there's only 2, and there'll be 2 tomorrow. Texas Tech's not that good. Florida should beat them. Duke might lose to Alabama if they shoot the way they did, but Alabama's an over team. They'll score 100. Duke will get 100. I'm going to make that my 5-unit, my 5-star. Alabama over, and they put up a 200. It just seems like they score a point. Like Michigan State it's 100 with 5 minutes left, and it ends at 130. It's really all about if they can hit 3-pointers. And we see Alabama hits 3-pointers. And I'm sure Duke does. Duke scores a lot. And Florida scores Texas. I haven't seen that. That's on at 6. Why are they on TBS? Do they not want viewers? I mean, I can't even get TBS. It's not part of my cable thing. So if I can't get it on cable, what the hell? So anyway, that's what we have. So watching the games yesterday, my impressions, Michigan State against Old Mississippi. Old Mississippi choked. They had a 10-point lead. All of a sudden, Michigan State came back. Michigan State doesn't look very good. They're no 2 seed. Kentucky, Tennessee, who knows? The game was on TBS. Kentucky beat them the first 2. Tennessee got them yesterday. I don't know how good Tennessee is. I knew Kentucky wasn't that good. Michigan, Auburn, I think it was more Michigan sucks than Auburn's very good. Michigan with the guard play was terrible. Really good big man, but what happened is the guy with the redhead big man tries to do too much because he knows his guards suck. The other big man was very good. The Russian guy. So there was just the guard play. I mean, they couldn't even make a pass. They couldn't drive. They couldn't shoot. Couldn't play defense. I don't know why these are the guards they settled with. Guards are a dime a dozen. You should have been able to get good guards. But we'll see. Alabama, I'm betting on their guards. I'm betting on them to score. And Florida, I've never seen. I guess I won't see them until the Final Four. Texas Tech, I couldn't name one player. And this is the thing when you don't watch. See, watching Michigan, I would never bet them in that situation again. I don't know what the over-under was. I think it went over. But Houston, the killer defense. I think Houston's going to have fun with Duke or Alabama. I don't know about Florida, and they will. They got to beat Tennessee, so I don't know how strong Tennessee is. Beating Kentucky. Kentucky was not a very good team this year. So this will be interesting. Tennessee and Houston. I got to bet the defense there. I'll bet it under. I don't know what it is. So that's college basketball. Again, it's 6:09 and 8:49 on TBS. Why isn't it on CBS? Who's going to watch the games? I guess the games tomorrow are on CBS. Yeah, tomorrow's on CBS. Tennessee and Houston, Michigan State and Auburn. 2:20 and 5:05. Interesting. They're on during the day, but today they're on at 6 o'clock and 8:49. Don't ask me. I can't figure it out. All right. Otherwise, who cares? NFL, any news at all? The push-tush. As vote on tush-push ban looms, teams can't avoid a hard discussion. It should not be allowed. It is not football. It's rugby. You shouldn't be able to push the guy into the end zone. It's got to be clearly him making it on his own. It's just like baseball. Going into the 10th inning, they put a runner on second. No, the guy's got to earn his way on. You don't just put a guy on second. The same thing here. You don't have 18 guys shove the guy into a rugby match. Go fucking watch rugby. It's not football. Anything new? Vikings declined to close the door on Rodgers, but won't promise him a starting job. Absolutely. I'd fire whoever's making that decision. I would fire. JJ McCarthy is not any good. Okay. So that's like the Bears with Caleb. Caleb stinks. You see the difference between Daniels, Penix, Bo Nix, and Caleb. JJ McCarthy is nowhere near Daniels, Penix, or Bo Nix. Oh, he can run around a little bit. Again, how many mobile quarterbacks have won a Super Bowl? Oh, yeah, 0. Because you need a real quarterback who can throw the ball to the receivers, Montana to Rice, Brady. Those are the ones that win. Or you win with the stifling defense like last year, Philadelphia, the Baltimore Ravens, Lawrence Taylor. They won with Phil Simms and Hostetler. They won with Lawrence Taylor. Okay, so if you have Lawrence Taylor, you don't need it. The Vikings don't have that. And they got Jefferson. So you don't have a quarterback to throw Jefferson the ball. Now, last year, he made Darnold look good. I don't know why they got rid of Darnold. Darnold at least had a good year. I would not have gotten rid of him to go to McCarthy. I don't get what they say in McCarthy. I watched Michigan. All he did was hand the ball off. He's not a good quarterback. He had a pass against Ohio State. He had one good pass where it was intercepted and they called it a touchdown. That's the only memory I have of McCarthy. He went into the Georgia game and he got killed. He fumbled right away. He went into another game against Iowa and fumbled right away. He's not a big game player. The fact they beat Washington was due to 4 long runs. It had nothing to do with him. It's like saying Jalen Hurts did something for Philadelphia to win. No, it was the defense. Barkley didn't do anything. Mahomes wins. Burrow wins. That's when the quarterback wins. But McCarthy, I'll be betting heavily against Minnesota if they don't go to Aaron Rodgers and they go to McCarthy. And we don't even know if he's even healed and how long he'll play. He's always injured. He was injured a lot at Michigan. Shoulder injuries. Here's a knee in preseason. So, of course, they won't play him in preseason when he needs to work. This guy has not played in the pros. He has never played at this level. And at Michigan, he basically, when they won the title, didn't play any good. He didn't play one good team. I don't know. They're in for a rude awakening there. We got the Lions, who their assistant coaches are terrible. They still need a defense. Their GM is way overrated. Picking guys in the first round does not make you a good GM. Although some of these guys are picking offensive linemen are a bunch of idiots. I'd say the San Diego GM should be fired for not taking Brock Bowers, taking a guard instead. They don't know how to build a team, basically. And it shows you by all the coaches changing as quickly as they do. The coaches in college change. They make $5 more. They go change, but they don't have their team. You need players to be successful. You can't just switch to a new team. You don't have the players. That's what hurt Scott Frost. He was UCF. He had Mackenzie Milton. Then he had Dylan Gabriel, and he goes to Nebraska, and he had some shit quarterback, Martinez, who was horrible. And he gets fired because he's got his head up his ass with Martinez walking away from Dylan Gabriel. What is he thinking? He's undefeated at UCF, and then why are you leaving? You had a great quarterback. So really, the minds of these guys they're all like chasing a dollar. I've never seen anything like it. You get paid. I did that once. I went from Visteon to Ryder, and it was the stupidest move I ever made. Ryder was a terrible company to work for, terrible environment. My boss was an idiot. What else is new? Again, a boss that isn't qualified to be a boss. They know accounting, but they don't know how to manage people. They don't know how to delegate. They don't know how to teach. You're supposed to teach, right? So when I walk in, I don't know anything. I know Verizon or Visteon, and I know GM, but I don't know how Ryder works. It's a whole different business, and it's a whole different, you're looking at different financials. So it's the manager's job to get you organized. Here's what we do. Walk me through it. But they don't want to walk you through it. And then they go with the bullshit, well, I assume you knew. Is that how you manage? Is that how you manage your kids? Well, I assumed you knew how to eat, or, I assumed you knew sugar was no good for you. That's not a manager. But at Visteon, I was trained. Even at Tenneco, the guy's like, well, hit the ground running. And I just laughed at him like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. What does that mean? Hit the ground running. Do you think I learned this in 3 weeks? I started collecting in 1991. I knew economics because I got my master's in 95. I knew to get good players, and I knew to get limited, as this is 999, and it's Drew Brees. So I knew to get limited and high. So I knew about high demand, Drew Brees, low supply, 999. It's his rookie card. It's a refractor. What I'm realizing is all the refractors seem to be worth a ton, and I got a lot of refractors just because I thought they looked nice. So like this mirror gold card, like this card's a refractor. I think you can see it in the light, right? You can see it shine. And notice I didn't take the peel off because that would have ruined the card. So I left the peel on. It's limited, but it's not numbered, and it's Cal Ripken, so it's a superstar. But you think I learned that right away? It took me at least a year to learn that. Remember, my ex got me a set of a box of Topps hockey cards, 1990. So we open all the packs. We don't, and then I start being anal, going, "Oh, I want to complete the set. It'll be worth more if I have the set." So we find card shows, and we get the 10, 15 cards we needed. And then I see the Holy Grail. I see all these other cards there. I see older cards. And so I start buying other boxes and making other sets. But what I don't understand at that point is, oh, there's hoops basketball. Oh, there's a Jordan and a Bird and a Magic and a Kareem in there. But what I don't get is I don't want the rest of the cards. I should only pick up the Jordan, the Bird, and the Magic, not everybody else. What's odd about basketball, it's only Jordan that really has the value. Hard to believe Magic and Bird don't have a bigger value. Charles Barkley, David Robinson, they don't have anywhere near. It's only Jordan, which just shocks me that my Magic and Bird cards just have no value at all versus the thing. The only thing I missed was getting the rookie card where they're all three on it. I think it's Magic, Bird, and Dr. J on the card. They were like the little 3-packs or 3 slides on one card. That's the only thing I missed. I should have got that right away, and I should have got I don't know about the Jordan rookie if it was affordable and it was in mint. It was very hard to get them centered. So I'm not really going to bitch about missing the Jordan rookie, but there was a few rookies. Maybe I should have went after the Bobby Orr rookie, or I think the Namath rookie, the Kareem rookie. Those were cards to spend a little bit more, but they had to be mint condition. So if I had to do it again, I would have gone after those. I would have went after Namath and get Namath, get Kareem, get Wilt. I was watching this thing on Kareem. You want to know who the GOAT is? It's Kareem. Kareem is the GOAT, not Jordan. What Kareem was doing, he was so dominant at UCLA, they made a rule you can't dunk. He was with the sky hook, the way he played defense, the way he passed is much better than Jordan. I mean, it's not even close. And we always thought Wilt is the GOAT. But after watching Kareem, he's the GOAT. It's not even close. Kareem is so much better than anybody because he can just come in and dominate because he's 7'1" and he has a sky hook and he can play, obviously, block shots and rebound. And Jordan's good. I mean, I'm not saying Jordan's not good, but Kareem's so much better. If it was pick one of the guys, I'd take Kareem and it would be a no-brainer. Just like Wilt. Wilt was very good. Wilt carried an attitude with him, but those two guys are so much are both GOATs. I mean, I don't think you can call it a GOAT, but they're so good. Anyway, but really, it triggers the supply and demand, which triggers us all the way back to gold and silver. High demand, low supply. 999. I got this one. This is a refractor. I was going through my cards yesterday, and here's another Drew Brees rookie. Notice they're in the plastic. It's just sitting there, and then I see this, and there's only 556, and it's a Topps Heritage. And again, it's Brees. But the reason it's 556, this is also a refractor. And this is worth a fortune. So the two Brees cards, I don't know, remember which one's worth more. They're both worth they're both going in the safe. And again, it's high demand, low supply. He's a superstar. This is how I collected cards. And it's funny, in the divorce, she got the house in the middle of 2008 when the housing crisis is happening, the worst time to sell a house, and I kept the cards. But the cards didn't have the value. They had us, I think I valued them at like $35,000. There was no PSA 10s. I think that was just coming into it, where the Montana card, I guarantee you, PSA 10, if it even existed, was not 100,000. And so I'm thinking, I got nice cars. I don't know what they're worth. It was a guess, 35 grand. And she got the house. She sells the house like an idiot. And I get the cards, which are now, that we were very careful to get as close to gem mint as we could. And with my brains about which players to get, Drew Brees, Brady, now it would be Joe Burrow, Mahomes. That's the difference. Now, here's another card. This is a Greg Maddox 87 Dunros rookie card. And this is a fortune. And you can see this is a fucking 10. This is perfectly centered, no whites, corner sharp, picture sharp. I got to get this grade. This is another $6,000-$7,000. Again, it's a PSA 10, but it's, look who I got. Now, that's not a refractor. It's not really limited. Hard to believe the Cubs just gave him away. But there's a Leaf one. If you guys have this card, it says Leaf over here, which is the Canadian version. It's worth 10 times. It's like $30,000. I thought I had it. I really did. I can't find it. But I don't. I know I had it. because I said, oh, and then I realized the Leaf was worth something, but again, in Beckett. So I don't know where that Leaf card is, but I will keep. I know I had it. I think I have another one of these in the set, card 36. Or maybe not. Maybe this is the card I pulled out of the set. But that's what we're doing with gold and silver in an indirect way. The difference is, okay, do you need a Drew Brees card? No, but it's worth money, absolutely, especially graded. Then it's a 10, then it's worth a lot. When the dollar collapses, this will go to zero in dollars, but in the gold-backed currency, this will have a nice value. So let's say this is 20, let's say 30,000 PSA 10 in monopoly money. The monopoly money goes away, it's worth zero. Then the gold money comes out, and it's probably be worth maybe 3,000-4,000 gold dollars, which is fine. That's what'll happen to everything. Profit, when it comes to individual NBA stats, Wilt is way ahead overall. Well, the best stats is Bill Russell. He had 10 titles. Which we seem to be big on titles. That's what everybody's raving about Jordan. I don't get Magic doesn't have the love or Kareem. They won 5 titles in the 90s. And you know who they beat? They beat really good teams. They beat Dr. J twice in the Philadelphia 76ers. They beat Bird twice. And then they beat the Pistons, who ended up winning 2 in a row. Not like Jordan beat Utah, Portland, really? So it just goes to show you, everybody sits there and goes, oh, Jordan won 6 titles. Excuse me, but Magic and Kareem won 5 against very strong competition. Beating Bird was unbelievable, but that's what the Lakers did. That's what forced them to have the good team, is you had 2 superstars, Bird and Magic. LA had Kareem, Boston had Paris and McHale, and then they got Dennis Johnson, who was all pro. The Lakers picked up Worthy and Norm Nixon, and you know, so off it went. But at the end of the day, Magic won 5 titles, and yet he gets no recognition. Jordan won 6, you know, and it's okay. Jordan was a good defensive player. We're not arguing, and Jordan could jump far, which okay. But he didn't win until he got Rodman, and Scottie Pippen stopped having his migraines. So he didn't win anything without Rodman, who was on the Pistons, and he couldn't beat Boston. He never beat Larry Bird in a series, and he never beat Isaiah until the last year. He beat Isaiah. So Isaiah beat him like 3 or 4 times, and Larry Bird beat him 3 or 4 times, and they killed him. They'd win by 50 points over Jordan. Jordan would score 50, and they'd lose 100 to 50. So I'm not sure. Jordan didn't make his other teammates better. He had Pippen, who was overrated, and then Dennis Rodman, who cleaned up. He was the rebounder and defensive player. So they won when Rodman was there, put it that way. Rodman knew how to win because Isaiah taught him, and he won the 2 titles in Detroit. Profit. That's a team stat, doesn't count. Well, sure it counts. Why do you think Jordan is so, he's the GOAT? Because he won 6 titles. That's exactly why he's the GOAT. He's not the GOAT. He's a good player, I guess, but team stats count. Why do you think Brady's so popular? Because he won Super Bowls. It's not individual stat. He doesn't have the best stats. The best stats go to Dan Marino. His card's worthless. In football, it's the Super Bowl. In hockey, it's the Stanley Cup. And in basketball, it's winning the title, not the stats. The stats are meaningless. Wilt's got a decent value. I actually have 1 Wilt Chamberlain card from him on like 74 when he's on the Aztec. I got like 1 Jerry West card, 1 Wilt card, And then I do have an 80, it's either 85 or 86 or 87 Flair, the very limited ones. I do have a Kareem there, but very hard to get perfectly centered. New Wine, how are you today? Didn't Jordan win at least 3 titles without Dennis Rodman? I don't know. I know the first 3 he had Rodman. Maybe the second 3 he didn't. But put it this way: he never beat Bird. He never beat Magic. Isaiah. He did beat Magic in '92. I think Rodman was on that team. I think Rodman. I don't remember. I know he went to San Antonio. He was on Detroit, right? And then he went to. They broke up the team for some reason. Then he went to San Antonio, won some titles there, and then he went to Chicago. So I don't know what, but Jordan didn't win until he got Rodman. He couldn't beat any of the real good players. And then they started retiring. Magic had to go, and Bird and Isaiah left. Then Jordan. That's my premise was on Montana beat 4 really good teams. I mean, he had to beat Lawrence Taylor. He beat the '84 Bears. First year, he beat the Cowboys, who were pretty good. But that's what I'm saying is, who do you beat? The competition. And Brady didn't beat a lot of good competition. In the Super Bowl, he didn't play anybody. Carolina, Philadelphia. He didn't beat anybody. Really, I think his best wins were at Tampa. But that's really the key to it. Wilt played against the Boston Celtics, who won 10. So that's why he didn't win as many. And then Kareem won 1 with Milwaukee, and then won 5 with the Lakers. Wilt was never surrounded by a strong team. He was when he went to the Lakers. He had West and Elgin Baylor. They won 33 games in a row, which is still the best. But Wilt was a great player. He couldn't help it that they were playing the Celtics, and he had him and one other player, and Boston had all these. It was a team concept with Red Auerbach, but they had Bill Russell. And again, defense always beats offense. Boston's defense beat Wilt. I mean, it plays every time. The Packers in the 60s was all defense. The Steel Curtain in the 70s was all defense. In the 80s, the Bears, Lawrence Taylor, they had the great defenses. Even the Niners didn't win until they had Ronnie Lott and those great defenses, even though they had Montana. Jimmy Johnson's was great defenses at Miami and Miami of Florida. And then, with Brady, they only won when they had great defenses. If you don't have a great defense, you're not winning shit. That's why I laugh at the Lions. They haven't learned this. And that's why I laugh at these teams with running quarterbacks. As soon as they play a good defense, Lamar will never win, because as soon as he plays a stud defense, he can't run and he can't pass. So how are you going to win the games? Even against Buffalo, who was an average defense, he couldn't do shit. A lot of turnover. I had like 4 turnovers in the game. So this is the problem with the running quarterbacks. So here's Minnesota taking J.J. McCarthy, who's more of an athlete quarterback than a quarterback. And we all know what's going to happen there. We've seen it. You see it with Lamar. Hurts got lucky that the defense came, and the defense got him 20 points in the Super Bowl. Hurts didn't do shit. And, Michael Vick, he didn't do anything. And Steve McNair got to the Super Bowl once. But he had Eddie George to hand the ball off to. You've got to have the running back, and that's what Baltimore's trying to do with Henry, is let Henry run. But the problem is then Lamar is useless, because you got Lamar to run, but Lamar, he gives the ball to Henry. Now it's Lamar throw, but he can't. And he gets into a big game and he chokes because he can't handle it, because he's never won anything. That's the problem. I'd rather have Burrow, and I'd rather have Daniels, and I'd rather have Bo Nix and my guy Micah Parson or Penix. Penix is a damn good thrower. That's why I'm telling you about this guy, McLeod from Texas State. This guy is phenomenal. He can run, but he is a very good quarterback. So is Dylan Gabriel. I don't know what the hell is going on. I don't know what you see in Cam Ward, and I certainly don't know what you see in Prime Jr. that you would draft them much higher than the other guys. I'll take the other guys in the second round. Thank you very much. And I'll laugh all the way to the bank like I do when I buy gold. New wine. Dennis Rodman joined the Bulls during the second portion of their championship runs. Oh, okay. I thought he was there the first, but I guess I'm wrong. That's fine. During spelling correction. I don't understand that, but okay. Because I'm not writing anything, so it's not me spelling. But he played a big role. I don't know in the first three then. They had to get somebody because Jordan couldn't win on his own. But I know I thought Rodman left the Pistons and then they started winning. I don't know. Not important. But Rodman helped them. But, Jordan won 6, Russell won 10. But we're not looking at team stats. Yeah, sure we're not. And Russell wasn't a GOAT, but Kareem was a GOAT, as was Magic and Bird and Wilt. You can't say there's one GOAT, not in basketball because of different positions. So you have Wilt and Kareem were incredible centers who dominated games, call it what you will. Magic and Bird were dominant players who controlled the games, dominated them. Bird dominated the games all by himself. So did Magic. You couldn't stop him. Who else, 6'10", is driving down the lane, no-look passes? Come on. And then Jordan could he could jump high. So could David Thompson, and we don't hear anything about David Thompson. He didn't win 6 titles. But he did at NC State. He won a title, right? But that, Jordan's okay. I'm not saying he's a bad player. He's not the best, and especially LeBron. They have the question LeBron versus Jordan and not bring in Bird, Magic, Kareem, and Will is just silly. I mean, it's just ignorant. LeBron couldn't even play in the 80s. As I've said before, he's like Karl Malone, a big guy, power forward. That's it. Bird would eat him alive. LeBron could not guard Bird. He could not guard Magic. He could not guard Isaiah. Isaiah was fast. I went to Oakland University, and they would practice there, the Pistons, and I was playing golf, and one of the guys went out for the team. He went out for the Pistons. Right? He was a good Oakland U player, right? And he said to me, Isaiah's got the fastest hands I've ever seen. Like, he would steal the ball from him every time. He was very fast, great defensive player, quick hands, very quick, great assist guy. And as he showed you with the broken ankle, he could score on one leg like he did against the Lakers in that game 5 or game 6, I think. But I mean, these guys, just incredible players. Now you got LeBron. Isaiah would steal the ball from LeBron every time. Every time down the court. If you put Isaiah on LeBron, LeBron wouldn't score a point. Bird would eat him alive defensively. Like Bird would post him, and LeBron could never stop him. And he couldn't stop Magic. So, I really shake my head when LeBron's the GOAT. Like, you've got to be kidding. But that's where we're at now in this world. It's really, everybody wants the quick fix. Oh, I'm going to buy Bitcoin because it's going to 100,000. It's going to 1 million. I'll be a millionaire if I buy Bitcoin. This is how stupid people are now. You've got to treat Bitcoin like you treat going and playing craps. If you get up from Bitcoin, I don't know who said it, New Wine maybe, where they bought Bitcoin or profit at 28 grand and they sold it at 80. Might even be Lou, which is fine. That's what you want to speculate on it like you would speculate. This is my Bitcoin. I'll take a Drew Brees, very limited refractor rookie card. That's my Bitcoin. Only this is real. I'm holding it and I'm watching it go up in value. Or the Greg Maddux rookie card. This is real. This is the world I live in. These are real cards. I hold them. I have them. I know why they go up in value, because they're superstars and they're very limited. I've got high demand and low supply, and that takes us to gold and silver. Now we know silver is going to the moon, just like the Jordan rookie card. Let's compare. Jordan, highly demanded. He's the GOAT. Whatever. Very limited, his PSA 10 rookie card, because it's extremely difficult to get the card centered. So you're going to have very few 10s. It's demand with Jordan, and it's 500,000. And that's the point of, if you do the math, that's what you do. And that's what we have in silver and gold. We have very, very limited. We have very high demand. Gold didn't win 6 championships yet, but gold's been around since before the Romans. You can't print gold, so gold's not going up in supply. The demand's coming in because people are realizing this is fucked, this is worthless. Oh, I'm in Europe. Oh, excuse me, this is worthless. Because these idiots keep printing and printing and printing. You can't control that, but you can make a lot of money because they're idiots. So realizing if I'm in Europe, okay, so my first thought is I'll get into dollars. This is what they've done. So the Germans and the Italians and the English and the Chinese and the Russians and the Japanese have said, I'm in my currency and it's worthless. It's being printed. I'm going to go into this. This is my safe haven. This is why you have all this money printed. This is why the stock market's high. This is why there's a lot of money in the banks. People come here as the safe haven, but they're missing the point. This isn't the safe haven. The gold and the silver are the safe haven, not the dollar. The dollar is more, when we compare, this is the dollar because it's Maddox, but it's not limited. There's no number on it. It's not a refractor. It's a regular card that they printed 1 million of. Now, how many are perfectly centered? I know there's centering issues on this, but that's what you have there. So this is the US dollar, and then this is gold. It's Drew Brees. It's a refractor, and it's 556. This is gold because it's highly demanded and very low supply, and it can't get any worse. So this is gold, very limited. They can't make any more. They dig it out of the ground, or that's it, and it's very hard. I mean, most of it's dug. Yeah, the Spanish ships, they got shipwrecked. The gold's at the bottom of the ocean, but oh well, it doesn't affect anything, and the demand's huge. And everybody from Africa to Asia to the Middle East to Latin America wants gold. Everybody but the U.S., because we're brainwashed into believing that this is the main. This is the dominant dollar, right? So therefore, this is what you want to hold. And then you're going to take this and you're going to put it in stocks and you're going to buy real estate trusts and you're going to get annuities. You're going to earn interest on this, but you want to be in this. And this is what these idiot financial planners are telling you to do. Stay in this. You don't want to get out of this. This is the key. And I tell you, no. This is the key. Or better yet, this is the key. Right? Tom Brady, 762. Rookie card, Michigan. This is the key. Get into something very limited and very highly demanded, and there's nothing better than gold. And then Junior Brothers silver. So that's why we do what we do. But everybody in the US thinks, well, this is the reserve currency. That was the word I was trying to think of. This is the reserve currency. So why would I get out of this? It was the petrodollar. That's not there anymore. Everybody was buying our treasuries because this is the reserve currency. But the idiots don't understand, Jim Rickards. You can't print it and print it and print it. They think it's the reserve currency. We'll just keep printing it. We won't run out of dollars because we can print it. They don't understand anything about value. No, you can't just keep printing it. If you print too much, it's worthless. You've printed too much. At 170 trillion, and now there's no more petrodollar, and now none of the BRICS countries are going to trade in it. All this money is coming back, but there's no room for 170 trillion dollars printed. Way too much. Then you got this debt, which is killing the value of the dollar. So all the way around, this is not limited at all. But now these guys start catching on. Hey, $37 trillion debt, military, you can't balance your budget, the bonds, your dollar's worthless. I need to stop. I need to get my money back. We've hit it in the stock market. We've hit it in your banks. we see it's not it anymore, right? It's not the strongest. It's the reserve currency, but nothing holds on. So was the British pound and the French franc, and the Romans. I think theirs was the only currency. That was a reserve currency. The Roman gold and silver. What did they do? Oh yeah, they took all the gold and silver out of their gold and silver. Not too intelligent. So with that, you went into what you thought was the strength, which was the dollar, and now you're realizing it's not. But the U.S. people don't realize this. I do, because I know it's not. Because I know that the Achilles heel of the dollar is you can't print it. So we'll bring Achilles in since we're bringing Roman. You can't keep printing something because then the supply goes up. So that's like this going from 762 to 70 to 7,000, 70, add 2 zeros, it's 76,200 for the Brady card. What do you think? What do you think it's worth? At 762, it might be 30 grand, and at 76,000, it might be 30 cents. Why? Oh, because they printed too much. There's not enough demand to handle the supply. There's not enough demand to handle it because the demand is going away. As the BRICS countries all trade in a gold-backed currency, which is coming. Right now, they're trading China and Brazil and Russia and Iran and China and Russia. They're all trading with their own currency. They're not using the US dollar. So the demand has gone down, but you still printed the supply. So this has gone to 76,200, but there's not 76,200 people who want it. There is 762 people that want it, but not 76,000. Hence why you need to keep the supply short. If you keep the supply short, the demand's there. But as soon as you start printing it to death, the demand goes away because you're always looking for this. You're looking for the limited Brady card. That's what you want. They think that's Bitcoin. What do they say? Well, there's only 21 million. What do you call it? It's not coins. There's nothing. It's not real. It's what do we, spreadsheets, digital, whatever. There's only 21 million digits. Big fucking deal. Is there demand for it? No. Can you use it at a restaurant? No. There's no use for it. It's just to make money. Well, who's stupid enough to buy something that isn't real? At least here, if you buy it, you get the Brady card, right? Here, it's yours. You have it, right? You have something that's valuable. What do I have in a Bitcoin? Well, I got air. I don't have anything that's real. How can it have a value? It's not real. But people are going because they want to get rich quick, because people don't know what they're doing and they don't know what to do. And hence why you had Madoff. Well, my dad has Madoff and he's making 15% every year on our investment. And Joe's in it and Bill's in it, and they all get paid and they're all, how do you do it? Well, if you got to ask me, I can't tell you, because the answer is going to be, I don't do anything. That's his answer. Well, there is no answer. He doesn't do anything. The answer is I don't make a trade. But why did people get into Madoff? Because they wanted to make money and they didn't know how. And they couldn't read the warning signs that this is probably fixed in a Ponzi scheme, because I keep making the same 15% every year, even though 2000 there was a big stock crisis and we still got 15%. Wouldn't that have given you the question, how did we make our 15% this year when the market crashed? Apparently not. But why did people do it? They didn't care. They just wanted to make money without any idea of how. At least we understand it's Tom Brady and it's limited. We understand why this has a value, or Drew Brees, or as we go, or Cal Ripken. We get why they have value. We don't get is why you're in Bitcoin. We get why gold has value, but only if you own the coin. So you must get the coins to have the value. In an ETF, you don't even have the coin. It's no different than Bitcoin. You don't have anything. They're trying to track the physical price of gold, but that's price fixed. That's not even real, right? The physical price of gold is not real. Again, it's up here somewhere. We don't even know what it is. We just know the COMEX price. That's what they're doing on the ETF. So they're screwing you even more, because they're taking the ETF, they're taking the paper price and giving you 2% or however they come up with your value. And they cheat you. Their management fee's huge. You're not making anything in an ETF that you would have if you bought the physical gold. So this is the key. The fact that the U.S. is a reserve currency doesn't really help you if you keep printing the thing. And that's why I say printing to death, because they printed too much. They took a nice limited card and made it not limited anymore. And the only reason it has value is because it's limited. So, in my title, I say paper versus physical, and that's what I mean. Paper versus physical. What would you rather own? And more, it's really more towards gold. Do you want an ETF or do you want the gold? Do you want an ETF Tom Brady or the physical Tom Brady? Do you want the COMEX Tom Brady or the real Tom Brady? And the point is, you always want the real card, because the real card's limited. I don't know what the digital is. It's not real. I can't hold it. So if I can't hold it, I don't want it. And that's where it stems from. You guys say, well, you're still old fashioned. You want to hold it. You're damn right I want to hold it, because I know what I have and I don't know what this digital is. Can you tell me that there's only 21 million Bitcoin? Are you sure? How about an ETF? How many ETFs? There's like 10,000. For 1 ounce of gold, there's 10,000 people thinking they own it. At least. It's probably more. And of course, they'll never get it because it doesn't exist. So if you're buying ETFs because you think, well, I have gold, I'm buying gold that way, you're out of your mind. You're not buying gold. And that's where I get into the paper can be printed and the physical can't. This is why you've got to get out of dollars. You've got to get out of the stock market, the real estate trust. You got to get out of bonds and annuities. You got to get out of everything paper, because paper doesn't have a value, because it's not backed by anything and it's printed to death. $170 trillion, you think it still has a value? Okay. Like I say, I got some oceanfront property here in Detroit. I'd be happy to sell you. This is the problem. So what they do is they scam you into believing that this €5 is worth €5. What they don't tell you is go to the store at this €5 and try to buy something. You can't. I mean, I go to the grocery store now. I get my pita bread. I get this. It comes in. I get 8 pitas, and it's now $3.99 for 8 pitas. My avocado is now $2.50 at Meijer's for one avocado. So I go to Walmart and get it 98 cents. They just did a price increase from 96 cents. So that's what I do is I go and I do that. But this is what's happening. What they're not telling you is this is worth nothing. This won't buy you anything. This won't buy you anything. What used to cost, what you could buy with $1, it takes 4 or 5. And that's what inflation is the value of the dollar isn't worth anything. And this is what nobody seems to understand. They keep saying about prices. And I keep throwing up when I watch YouTube guys who are gold experts who don't know what the fuck they're talking about. The only one I can find is really Egon, who actually understands it. And Mark McGuire a little. Alligator, I don't know. He keeps saying it's not gold going up, it's the dollar going down. And China really didn't buy gold, they sold dollars. Alligator, what are you, some sort of idiot? How else are you going to buy the gold? You need something to buy the gold with. Of course you sold dollars so you could buy the gold. I do it all the time. I take my dollars and go buy gold. What are you talking about, alligator? And it's not gold going up. It is gold going up. And the question more should be, why isn't silver going up? Explain that. Don't say it's not gold going up. Well, gold was 2,900. Now it's 3,000. Now it's 3,085. What the fuck do you mean it's not gold going up? Because the dollar isn't going down anymore. The dollar's gone. You just don't know it. It's worthless. Go take $100 to the grocery store and see what you buy with it. You get 6 things in your cart. Go try to fill up your cart at the grocery store like you would when you were a kid in the 70s or 80s. Go fill up your cart. I used to work at Farmer Jack's from 76 to 84. Go fill up your cart now and see what you get with it. It cost you $1,000 if you filled up your cart and got what you used to get. I went and got mouthwash, just regular Crest. It's like $6, $7 now. I got like conditioner was $14 for this. I used the coconut butter thing. $14. Now it's 24 ounces, but it should be $3. That's what you don't understand and what they don't tell you. That's what inflation is. But they'll say it's price year over year. So if the shampoo that's $14 was $14 last year, there's no inflation. It didn't go up. Well, you got to go back to 1971. What was it then? It was $1.09. Now it's $14. That's your inflation. But they won't tell you that. They want inflation's 2%. And then the analysts on YouTube go, inflation's 2%. You can't measure it in percent. You can't measure it in dollars. You can only measure it in money printing. You measure it by the 762 is how you measure inflation. Oh, there's $170 trillion out there. That's how I measure inflation. And the more money printed, the more money you need to buy things. And that's what Alligator's trying to say, but he says it terribly wrong. What he's trying to say is it takes more dollars to buy the gold, is what he's saying. But what he misses is because gold's been suppressed, when gold goes up, it hasn't hit its price yet. So the real price is up here, not the COMEX price. So when this goes up, it is going up because of demand. That's the only reason. It didn't start going up till BRICS said we're going to all buy gold. And now we got 20 countries behind us. And it sounds like Thailand joined. And it sounds like today, I think Hungary joined. So they'll probably be at 40 countries soon. And another 30 or 40 that want to trade with them. a lot of African countries who get screwed by the US and this whole we're going to have a regime change. What kind of crap is that? I mean, you got to be kidding me. So that's really what nobody tells you but the professor, right? Is this is the clearest way I could show you. Um, this is what supply demand means, right? The demand is I want Brady, I want Breeze, I want Michael Jordan. It's the supply. It's very limited. That's why you get very high prices. So condition then is the other variable. It's got to be a PSA 10 or Gem Mint to get you the real high prices, like my Montana card. The Montana, if that's a PSA 10, is worth $100,000 because it's even more limited. The grade makes the card makes the supply makes the supply of the card. So right now it's 762, but if this card was ripped, it wouldn't be worth anything. So it's got to be in. Then it's the condition, and the supply that really make it go. So the demand is key. So really, the supply on the Montana card is probably 100 PSA 10s. That's the demand's there. That's why the value's through the roof. And that's really what you're doing with gold. You're not really, that's why I bitch about it. Doesn't matter if the gold's from a Canadian maple leaf or a eagle or uh, the Cougaran or the Philharmonic, because that'd be like saying it matters what, like, okay, what it's saying is what they're saying with theirs is, oh, this one's worth more than this one because it's the set. And I'm saying it's Drew Brees, it's his rookie card. They're both refractors. They're both worth a fortune. Now, maybe this is worth more than that or vice versa. And that's what they're trying to say is I only buy American. And I'm shaking my head going, but they're both an ounce of gold. So don't tell me it has to be made in America for like, oh, it's a maple leaf, you don't trust it. It's a Cougaran, you don't trust it. It's an ounce of gold. You go on the machine, there's no magnet. It's an ounce of gold. An ounce of gold is immaterial to what country it is. Now, maybe some are more limited than others, but we don't care. We're not playing that game. We're playing the gold game. So when gold goes to 3,085, I don't care what country I have. If the guy's stupid enough to sell it to me cheaper, I'll be more than happy to buy it. I mean, that's what I show you, right? So if the guy wants to sell you the Eagles 3022, and this is not that old. It's already up to it'll be 3200 now. The Cougaran is only 2982, and the Maple Leaf is 2997. Well, why is the Eagle 3022 and yet the Maple Leaf 2997? They're both ounces of gold. Well, there's more demand for the Eagle than there is for the Maple Leaf. The demand is for gold, and the supply is very limited to 200,000 tons. And if some are made, so it'd be like some being tops and some being Bowman and some being upper deck. Does it really matter? I mean, a little bit. That's probably one reason the Jordans were so much. His rookie card is the 86 Flair, and that's it. There was no 86 tops at the time. That's the only card that you could get. So it was a monopoly, and that's why it's worth so much. But in layman terms, we're not really counting how many ounces of gold is in the Maple Leaf, the Cougaran, or the Eagle, or the Buffalo. We don't care how many ounces because we're not buying it for that. We're buying it for the gold, and we see the gold at 3085. All the gold should be 3085. Now, at this point, they're being a little picky, saying, well, I want the Eagle and I don't want the Maple Leaf or the Cougaran. That's fine. But once the shit hits the fan, and the shit's barely starting to hit the fan, Gold's 10,000 an ounce. Do I give a fuck if it's a Eagle or a Cougaran? Not at all. Oh, you got an ounce of gold? I want to eat. Okay, I'll pay for the ounce of gold. You don't care what it is. This is why I don't like Andy Scheckman's all of a sudden, oh, I only buy Eagles. Bullshit. You only buy Eagles. You sell Eagles so that you just steal it from yourself. You buy what you're getting and you're buying cheap because you're the wholesaler. And so you get it probably $100 under spot or something. Okay. That's why you always buy gold. So stop lying to us. You're not going to the store like we do and buying. And when we go, of course, we're going to buy Maple Leafs and Cougarans because they're cheaper. If I can save $25 on a Maple Leaf, why would I spend more on an Eagle? I'm buying the ounce of gold. Why do I want to spend more for an ounce of gold than if I buy a Maple Leaf ounce of gold? It's cheaper. It's an ounce of gold. Good Lord, these people are such liars. Andy Scheckman, I have no respect for anymore. He's lying through his teeth. He doesn't buy any of it. It's his own. He gets it from the mint and he sells it. And all he does is pocket 5 or 6 ounces and put it. He doesn't buy. He's not buying gold. He's taking his own inventory. And if he only gets Eagles, well, then of course, that's why he's buying Eagles, but he doesn't buy any of them. What is he talking about? I mean, unless he pays himself, maybe he does that. Maybe he buys his own stuff, but does he sell any other besides US? Probably not. That's what he does. It's all bullshit, but he misleads you. Do not. You can get the Cougaran cheaper, the Maple Leaf cheaper. Why would you spend more on the Eagle? Well, we're in America. Who gives a fuck? We can go to Switzerland and sell it. I mean, this is the point. You sell it wherever. You go on eBay and sell it. They're all being sold. There's different prices now because it's available. But once you can't get it, an ounce of gold will be fine. And I really don't care. So I bought, $1,800. I probably bought the Eagle, and it was probably $1,770 to buy the Cougaran. Now it's $3,085. Do I really give a fuck if I lose $20 because I got a Cougaran? Absolutely not. From the $1,700 I paid for it, I'm fine. Thank you very much. And I don't want to rub that in. If you're coming and you're new and you realize you need gold, just go buy it. But go buy Eagles and or Maple Leafs and Cougarans if you can. Buy whatever they get. You're just trying to gain your inventory. So the more inventory you can get every 1,000. So when this went from 2,650 to, well, let's say 2,680 to 3,080. 2780, 28, 29, 3. It went up $400. So if you had 50 ounces, you made $5,000 every time it went up, or you made $20,000. Just generically, that's the price of gold, $3,085. It doesn't matter. It's not differentiated by country. It's gold's $3,085, not US gold. So therefore, your gold's worth $3,085. So you just made $20,000 in what, 2 months? I think it was January. It was 26 something. So here we are in March, March. In 2 months, you made 20,000 tax-free dollars. Not bad if you can do it. So don't feel bad you didn't get in at 17 or at 500 or at 1,000. You got in, and it doesn't matter. Every 100 it goes up, you make money, and that's the goal. The difference is you actually have it. It's physical. It's in your hand, and you're safe. So you have the gold. And it's not going to go down. It's not going to crash like Bitcoin or the stock market because there's no other place to put the gold. You must get out of this, right? You don't have an option here. You must. This is worthless. This is worthless. You must sell this and Rumpelstiltskin it and sell this and get into gold and silver, right? And if you do that, you don't care because you're not losing in this anymore. You got $200,000. Well, this is now worth $100,000. you lost 100,000. In gold, that can't happen because the demand is never to get out of gold to go back into dollars at this point because the dollars are all worthless. So why would I sell 10 ounces of gold to get back into this, to get back on the Titanic? I would never want to do that. Hey, Luke. Heading to France in airport listening, gold up $1,000 an ounce in like a year. And it's just beginning. Wait till we hit 5,000. So when are we going to Capitol Grill? When do you get back? We'll meet there. Are we going to the one in Pittsburgh or the one here, or do we hear from Bobby? I don't care, wherever you want to meet, it's fine, but we should celebrate. And what are we going to do at 3,500? What are we going to go to Hawaii? I mean, but certainly, yeah. Well, let's take a look at the returns on gold. So here's our returns on gold. I mean, just today, 1%, but 1% on 3,000 is a lot. 6 months, it's up $400, 15%. Look at 1 year, it's up $800 or 36%. And the thing is, it can't go down. 5 years, 1,400. So it was at 1,600 5 years ago. And that's probably when I started doing this. I think gold was about 1,700. Look at 20 years, 2,600, 600%. But let's just go a year, 36%, tax-free. There's no capital gains. There's no interest. I'm doing my taxes. What was your interest from the bank? I don't have any money in the bank. I don't have any interest. So I don't have to claim my interest on this. So 1 year's $800 per ounce and 36%. So now silver obviously won't be that good. But silver in a year still up 37%. It was in the low 20s, I remember. So you're still making 37% on silver in a year. This is what's sad. It's only gone up $27 in 20 years. It should be up $2,700. But in 6 months, you're up 10%. So in a year, 37%. Where are you going to find that? Oh, in the stock market, the overvalued stock market. You own Apple. How much did you get on? Are you even getting a return as they're going down? This is the problem. So where else are you going to get this return? Tax-free, mind you. Even if you sell it, there's no capital gains tax. If you sell a couple ounces, I think it's when you sell like 50 ounces or a ton is when you got to pay the 1099, the tax. If you just go in and sell 3 or 4 coins, there's no 1099. So you're free and clear, no interest, because remember, gold doesn't give you interest and dividends. No, it just goes up in value. And so my whole point here is that, okay, in a year you've gone up $815. So we're at 30.85. Now the beauty of it is maybe you're in Apple stock or Amazon, you might take your profit and then go buy another stock. You're not taking profit in this because you can't get out of it. The only thing you could do is sell it to get into silver. You're not selling this to get back in to the Titanic. You want to get out of this as it's sinking. So you never want to sell this for this. It's impossible. Nobody can be this stupid because if you're buying gold, you know this is worthless, and therefore look what we're at. But I'm not ever thinking of selling and taking profit at 30.85, even though I bought it at 1,700, 1,800, 1,900. There is no, my goal is to increase inventory. So every 100, instead of making let's say I got 50 ounces. I want to have 60 ounces. So I want to make 6,000 every 100 instead of 5,000 every 100. So you just buy inventory. And I know it's getting expensive now. It's 3,200 to buy an ounce now because you got to pay the premium. So you go buy a quarter ounce for 900 or a tenth of an ounce. You're just trying to increase inventory. They all add up. I got like 30 of the tenth of an ouncers because that's all he had sometimes. So I'd buy 2 or 3 of them. I didn't want to. I'd rather have bought halves or quarters, but it's expensive to come up with 3,000. And so but I have 800. I'll buy a quarter ounce. And they add up too. So the goal is to just increase your inventory. So when Luke says, how much is enough? The answer is you're wiping out your dollars. It's as much of these as you can get rid of is the answer. Because the more you have and it moves up another 100 or 2, you went from 50 ounces to 100 ounces, you just made 10 grand every 100. That should be your goal. Think like that. These banks are making a fortune because they're buying tons. China's sitting there smiling. They got 60,000 tons and it just went up $1,000. China's doing cartwheels all over the place, even though they're bankrupt and all the people are starving and all the businesses are out, but China's still enjoying. But the government has the gold, and Putin's swimming pool, he's going into the diving board, doing handstands all over the place. As all his 25,000 tons just went up $1,000 an ounce. That's what it's about in the U.S. How do we not own gold? Now I know J.P. Morgan was supposedly buying gold for their ETFs, but they gotta settle. J.P. Morgan is buying the gold to settle, and Goldman Sachs to settle these derivatives that are underwater because people wanted delivery and they didn't have it. So what they're buying is to pay off the delivery because you can't fuck with China and Russia, who are the ones taking the delivery. China's sitting there taking delivery. You're not fucking with them. No way. So you're paying China and Russia off, and India, Saudi Arabia. You're paying the countries off. It's not me and you who you can say, "Oh, we're not gonna pay you, kid." Yeah, you're gonna do that to China and Russia. You are paying them. So that's really the key to it. Is you have to pay them off. That's why because now J.P. Morgan owns the silver and the gold ETFs. And again, please don't buy ETFs. They're not real at all. Like I said, this is real, right? This is a Drew Brees refractor autograph, or not autograph, rookie card, 999. This is limited, and this is real, and you can hold it in your hand. This is why you don't want Bitcoin, and this is what you want. That's why you want physical gold. I don't want an IOU. Well, I owe you the Drew Brees card. That'd be like me selling this to you, Luke, and not giving you the card. Well, I'll give you an IOU. I owe you a Drew Brees rookie card. And then I do the same to Profit, and I do the same to 5 other people. I owe you the card. That's what COMEX is, and that's what an ETF is. That's what Sprout's doing. Well, I owe you the gold. I owe it to you. You'll never get it because he doesn't have it. That's like, I got one of these. That's like saying, well, there's 50 people that want the card. Okay, I'll give you ETFs. And all the 50 people want the card. You're not getting it. This is only going to one. I only have one card and I'm keeping it. That's an ETF. They promise 50, 100, 1,000 ounces of gold and they don't have it. Do not. That's why you stay away. That's why you must hold it. You must buy it, hold it, put it in your safe, and you're fine. Nobody can fuck with you. And you don't, and there's really, like they'll say, well, first of all, there's no shipping costs because we're going to the store and buying it, and we walk out with it. And then the insurance, I don't insure it. I don't want anybody to know I have it. And then storage, oh, that's real hard. I bought a safe. So I don't have any of these extra costs they're trying to scare you into. But with that, just keep that in mind. Just buy the physical, because what they're not telling you is this is worthless. And I just showed you examples where, Now it takes more dollars to buy the groceries and everything else, but they don't tell you. And then they want to tell you inflation is prices going up, and it's not. You can never measure inflation by prices, and you can never. Why would you do it year to year? Do you expect a price increase every year? Do you think the market's going to allow that? You make New York strips $30 a pound. You ain't selling any of them. There's a price at the market, $10, $15 maybe. It's a special. It's a birthday. You're not going every week and buying $15, $20 New York strips. You might go once, and when it's on sale, you might buy 5 of them. But you can't. That's why prices are not the way you measure inflation. And I'm so sick of these idiots. Well, inflation's only 2%. It's the CPI. I don't even look at the CPI, and I know inflation's not prices. It's printing the fucking money. And that's it. That's as clear as you can get. So, again, like this card will go to zero. Let's say it's 20 grand if it's a PSA 10. A Drew Brees refractor rookie, numbered 999. The dollar goes out, so this goes to zero. As your house, as your car, as the rest of your cards, as your Rolex, as everything but your gold and silver will not go to zero. This goes to zero in dollars. We need a new currency. It's gold back. Then this goes to about 5 grand. And then at 5 grand, but it's 5 grand gold back currency. So now it's really worth more than the 20,000. And that's really what you're happening. And that's what I'm telling you, Luke, with the houses. They go to zero, and then they'll be revalued in gold back currency if we're smart enough to have gold back currency. And that's why your house then goes from 500,000 to 30 or 40,000 gold back. And that's where if gold's 20,000 an ounce, 2 ounces buys your house. That's the method to my madness. And again, it's everybody talks doom and gloom because they're sitting in dollars. Well, all you need to do to end this is to come out with new dollars that are backed by gold and silver, and you won't have a recession. You won't have a depression. You won't have any problems. You'll just need to exchange your money for the new currency. But yet, since we don't have any gold in Fort Knox, we can't have a gold back currency. So we're struggling watching this blow up. I think they're thinking, well, we'll get rid of the debt if it goes to zero. You also get rid of the assets if it goes to zero. So then what are you going to do? You still need a medium of exchange to run your country. You still need some form of dollar to run the country. You cannot do it without dollars. And just because it's digital, don't think a CBDC will work, or any digital currency, Bitcoins or crypto will not work because they're not real either. Nobody will take them. Nobody knows what they're worth. So you have that bridge to cross, Mr. Government, trying to figure out, it's got to be what's wanted. The medium of exchange is what's the most wanted, the most demanded by the public. And it sure as shit isn't CBDCs or Bitcoin. Nobody wants Bitcoin for money to go to Kroger's and spend it, or Capitol Grill. They want it because they think it's going to $1 million, because some idiot, Larry Fink and Michael Saylor, are saying, oh, don't never sell it. It's going to $1 million. I heard Trump even say that. I didn't know he was that stupid. Oh, you don't want to sell your Bitcoin. Okay, sure. Yeah, we'll believe that, fella. So that's what we're looking at. And this is what nobody tells you. I can't believe how stupid most people are. They think inflation's prices. It's every time I hear that, I want to throw up. Just because they're so stupid, they don't even know, but they're talking like they know. And then people who don't know listen to them, and then that's defeats the whole point of teaching, is when people are giving wrong information. So when you do listen to these people, please listen. The only guy you should listen to is Egon and Mark McGuire without a guest, and that's it. Do not listen to Andy Scheckman or Jim Rickards or Lynette Zhang. They don't know. They're all salesmen. They're all stockbrokers or bankers. They're not economists. And even the economists, it's very hard to find an Austrian versus amongst the Keynesians, the sheep amongst the wolves. Very, very hard. So what you're hearing in a lot of cases, you don't know, you weren't educated. I'm trying to educate you so now you understand. And most people are getting miseducated by these idiots. Oh, I'm going to listen to Jim Rickard. He says you can just keep printing money and it won't have an effect. The money won't lose value if we just keep printing it. What a fucking idiot this guy is. How do you come out and make that comment and you think you're right and you just go, what an idiot this guy is. So that's one thing you got to really understand. Be careful who you listen to. And some guys are just good talkers. Andy Scheckman just talks but doesn't say anything. And Alligator, I don't know, even Mark McGuire gets into his things. You don't know what he's talking about. So just be careful. A lot of people do things just for the hits. I was watching Alligator had this. I was watching just before class, and he says, silver price explosion in April, ? He never talks about it. He never talks about silver price exploding in April or why. It's not going to explode in April. This is a headline to get people to watch it, but it doesn't say anything. Anyway, and he does the same thing. He gets interviewed. I don't know why. He gets interviewed on 10 different shows. He says the same thing. It's not the dollar going up. It's gold. It's the dollar going down, not gold going up. And nobody questions him on it. No, you're wrong, Alligator. It is gold going up because of the demand for gold. The demand for any product will raise the price. It's the way it works. New wine. Is it true that they would never go to a back currency because it would be harder to make more people debt slaves? I'm sorry, what's a back currency? Oh, a gold back currency? It would be harder to make more people debt slaves. No, that's not why the reason they don't use gold is because they can't. Let's not be naive on who runs the banks. The banks run the government. Who runs the banks? The mafia. The mafia does what? They sell drugs and prostitutes and stuff like that, which is cash business. They need it in cash. Now, can they have it in gold? Maybe, but there's a limit of how much money you can have in gold. So it behooves them to not have a gold back system because they can't steal the money. I can go print $1 billion now from JP Morgan, who runs the printing press. He can print $1 billion. And I can put it in my pocket and keep it under my bed. Nobody will know I have it. But the gold back currency, they can't. The gold back currency limits how much money you can. If I have 100 billion gold in gold value in my gold coins and bars, that's all I can print in my papers. $100 billion. That's it. And so I can't sell my drugs because there's not enough money to buy it with. It's a corruption thing, having bullshit, phony money versus real money. And that's the problem. So they can't be as corrupt, and Biden steals the money and Pelosi steals them. All these people, this whole U.S. aid and even this Elon Musk he's not rich. It's Tesla he's got the shares in that make him rich. He's not rich. If Tesla went to 10, he'd be poor. So he doesn't have the money really. He's just playing with it. But it allows for this expansion that they can just keep printing the money and it's all corrupt. This is why all the politicians are corrupt. All the lobbyists give them $1 million. Well, if it's gold back, there's not that much money out there. and you can't just give it away. Now you can raise the price on gold. So, gold's what, 3,000, 3,100 now an ounce. So they can make it 31,000. Then they can print more money. I don't see why they can't do that. Well, people will know that the dollar is worth less because gold went up. Well, not necessarily. If my Drew Brees goes up, does that mean the dollar went down? No, it's because of demand. More people wanted this card because it's his rookie card and it's $9.99, and they go, oh, a PSA 10's worth what, $25,000? Here comes the demand, which jacks the price up to 35. That's how Montana did it, right? Oh, it's a PSA 10, and most of the cards are not PSA 10 because they're not centered. Oh, now it's 100,000. Does that mean the dollar's worthless? No. How they correlate gold to the dollar blows my mind because it's got nothing to do. One has nothing to do with the other. Not at all. It's not. Gold's an asset, just like my cards, right? Just like this is an asset. This is an asset. These are assets. These are different players, and there's demand for Brady. There's demand for Greg Maddux. That's how it works. And that's how you get different prices, but it's not limited on the dollars. So I guess you could have a gold back standard where it would be, you'd have to keep raising the price of gold. And I guess the Keynesians seem to think, well, that's the value of the dollar is tied to the gold, which it isn't at all. But I think that's the real reason is the corruption. Why did Rome get off the gold? All their coins were gold and silver. Why did they get off of it? They wanted to expand and spend more money once it became an empire. So Rome was a republic where there was a council or like a president and then the Senate, and they balanced each other. That's why the council wouldn't have too much power. He couldn't do what he just wanted. The Senate would have to agree, and then the two would have to agree. So it was a balance. And then when Julius Caesar took over, I was watching on Netflix, he went to Egypt and he was with Cleopatra, and there was nobody running the government because the Senate wasn't doing their job. He goes back and it's all shithole and there's nobody, everybody's starving. And so he says, well, shit, senators, what were you doing? So hell, you're useless. So that's why he said, I'll just be the dictator. I'll make all the decisions. I'm smarter than all you guys, and you guys aren't functioning without me. That's why he became the dictator. But that's why they killed him, because then he had too much power. But then it eventually went from a republic where you had the balance to an empire, which was a dictator. And that's why Rome failed. That's why all the countries failed, because then once it becomes a monopoly, you fail. Ukraine's a good example. China, they're going broke. I mean, anytime you have that, the leader can't possibly lead and know everything, right? That's why you need different senators to, do different functions, treasury or legal or stuff like that. So that's where it falls apart. Yeah, gold back. Yeah, I got it. You're writing like Bobby, where you just said back, but I figured it out. But that's the thing for us who aren't corrupt, who go to work and spend it. We want gold back currency. It's the best thing for us. That's why Rome thrived. They had the gold coins and silver coins for 600-700 years, and you were fine until you went to dictatorships, and the dictators, Caligula and Commodus and all these others, took the gold out of the coins for themselves. And that's when Rome lost, is they took all their gold and silver out of their coins. The money was worthless. Guess who got the gold? Yes, the Ottomans, the Turks, and they came in and destroyed the Roman army because they weren't getting paid. They said, well, I'm not fighting if I'm not getting paid. And so the army just walked away, and the Ottomans had the gold, so they worked. So they played. That's why Rome fell, because they inflated their money and took all the gold and silver out. Does that sound familiar? Because it is, because that's exactly what's happening. We do not have balances anymore. Right now, the president's a dictator. It was with Trump. It was with Biden. It was with Obama. These executive orders, that's not how it's supposed to. You should go to the Senate and the House, and they should determine what yes or no. They should block, that's the checks and balance. We don't have that anymore. Trump's sitting there doing executive orders. That's what a dictator does. That's what Biden did. All these executive, he comes in, he starts signing. He doesn't even know what he's signing. He can't even read. And now Trump's doing the same thing. And Trump, what is this? I show you, look, I signed this executive order. What the fuck is that? That's because Biden wouldn't sign them. They used some laser signature. But we don't have that anymore. We don't have the balances. Trump can't just do things. Biden couldn't just do things. You need this. That's why you have the Senate and the House to balance it. And right now we're Rome and we're fucked and we're on our way out. Believe it or not, we're too strong. You can't. We have the reserve currency. It don't mean shit. So did Rome. So did France. So did England. So did Spain, Portugal, and Amsterdam. They all had the reserve currency. They all went to war. Look at Napoleon. He killed France. And the whole Les Miserables play is based on 1790 France, when they had people were starving and you had the dictator. And then Napoleon went to Russia and lost at Waterloo, and that was the end of France because wars cost money. People think wars get you out of recessions. They bury you in a recession. That's why we're having war, because we have a $37 trillion debt, and they think, well, we'll get out of it by making military weapons. That'll get us out because that's people working. No, it can't be. Government can't do it, because where does government get the money to pay the defense contractors and to pay the Ukraine? They can't do it. That's got to come from us developing something new and making productivity enhancements. That's how it's all got to be private. The private sector has to raise the country. The public sector can. You can't just have government jobs and pay the people. That's not going to help your economy. They think, well, it helps unemployment because we're putting these people to work. Where are you getting the money for it? You don't have it. You got to print it. You got to do T-bills. You're sinking us further and further in debt, and you're the most corrupt motherfuckers that have ever been on the planet. It's ridiculous how corrupt the government is. What's Elon Musk doing? He's not even a government employee. What is he doing? I'd be pissed too if he came and watched how I work. Fuck you. You're not even an employee here. You shouldn't be there. Now, if it was me trying to do what he would do, me analyzing, going, hey, wait, this U.S. aid's wasting a lot of money, you wouldn't even know I was doing it. I'd be behind the scenes. Shh, don't tell them it's me. And I would find all this out and I report it up to Trump and say, this is what's happening. I don't want to be public. You won't know it's me. But yet Elon Musk is sitting there in these meetings and saying, look at what I did. I found all this money. Fuck, you couldn't even build a car company. You did it with government contract, not the private sector. And you're getting killed because people are not buying Lexuses anymore because we don't want electric cars. So you're making something nobody wants. So it's really ridiculous. Luke, BRICS was a bust. Remember how geeked we got on thinking it was at hand? BRICS is not a bust. What are you talking about? They're all spending amongst each other, and they are coming out with the gold-backed currency soon. But that's not even the answer. The BRICS is all trading amongst each other. So they're all off the dollar, right? China transacts with Brazil. They're not using the dollar as the middleman. So the middleman used to be China would buy dollars and then take the dollars and buy Brazil reals. Now China's getting out of the dollar, and they're just, China goes to Brazil, Russia goes to Iran, China goes to Russia. They are not using the dollar. So they are doing a good job, and they are buying all the gold for us, which is making the gold price go to the moon. So I don't know what you're saying. BRICS is not a bust. It is all at hand, and it's aren't you seeing gold go up? I mean, I'm confused by you, Luke, but no, it's not a bust at all. Yes, they are coming out with a gold-backed currency, but they're not going to do it yet. They're letting the U.S. ruin themselves, and we are. And then on the 12th hour, they'll say, okay, we're coming out with gold-backed currency. That's why they're all buying gold. China, Russia, Thailand just became a member. I think Hungary just joined, Cuba. They all got to buy gold because they all need a gold-backed currency because nobody's going to trust Russia and China and all the other crooks in BRICS. Nobody trusts them. That's why the gold, because everybody trusts gold. So you're wrong there. BRICS is not a bust. BRICS is causing this by everybody getting out of the dollar, making huge inflation. Inflation's, like I say, you can't measure it in prices, but prices aren't even to be used to measure inflation. Let's just say inflation's 1,000%, because I'm going to look at it from 1971 when a car was $4,000 is now $45,000. That's inflation. And houses were $25,000 are now $500. That's how I'm going to measure inflation. But I don't even need to measure it. I just know you printed $170 trillion, probably a little bit more than needed, and probably causing the dollar to have no value. That's what you got to focus on, Luke. The gold-backed currency is coming. It's just, like I said, they're just waiting for the dollar to go out. Then it comes in. But that's why they got all the gold. China's got 60,000 tons of gold, and their citizens are buying it. But when I show you China videos, they're all broke. The malls are empty. People are going to the bank. They can't get their money out. Here, I'll show you China. Here's China's banking problem. Let's see. Yeah, where did it go? I think this is it.
At Wayfair, we get pretty excited about furniture. Around here, it's not a patio, it's patio. Oh, I love.
If you fail in business,
再不改就来不及了。
entrepreneurs and office workers in Hefei are facing a collective credit crisis. You could be the next victim. The numbers are heartbreaking. 9 out of 10 entrepreneurs and office workers in Hefei are in credit trouble. Small business owners are seeing their credit cards completely blocked, and office workers are struggling with mortgage payments. This is not an exaggeration. Within 3 years of the pandemic, the average debt of entrepreneurs and office workers with 30-year mortgages has surged by 200%. What's even more alarming is that these people who create 80% of the country's jobs and contribute 60% of tax revenues are being pushed to the brink by an outdated credit system. Over the past year, I've observed a troubling trend. A government worker earning 3,000 yuan a month has a credit score of over 750, while a business owner who pays millions in taxes ends up on the blacklist. Ridiculous, isn't it? The current credit rules are...
Well, yeah, China's in trouble, but that's not what I wanted to show you. Their banks are in trouble. Yeah, where is it?
A real estate development in Foshan, Guangdong, has plunged into chaos due to a sharp drop in housing prices, sparking outrage among homeowners. Many frustrated buyers gathered at the sales office demanding an explanation from the developer for the steep price cuts.
Nobody
Videos
would
show
buy.
intense clashes between homeowners, sales staff, and security personnel, with the situation spiraling out of control. According to
Welcome to China, and it's coming to a theater near you. Where is the one on banks? Anyway, they tried to get their money out of the bank and they can't.
What if the emerging markets, led by China and its BRICS allies, decided to not just challenge but completely upend the existing global financial system? What if they rejected the US dollar's decades-long reign and instead decided to take control of their own economic futures? This isn't just an abstract idea or a distant possibility. It's happening right now. Under the bold leadership of Xi Jinping, China is leading a dramatic shift in global finance, using currency agreements and strategic economic diplomacy to challenge the dollar's dominance like never before. The implications are far-reaching. This is not a gradual shift, but a revolution that threatens to redefine the entire landscape of global trade and finance. The question is not just whether the dollar's reign will eventually end, but when, and how quickly the change will happen. Could this be the beginning of the end for the US dollar? Let's dive deeper into this unfolding crisis for dollar dominance and explore how China is leading the charge. Central to China's strategy are currency swap agreements, a simple but incredibly effective financial tool that is slowly reshaping the world's financial architecture. A currency swap is a deal between two countries where they agree to exchange their currencies directly, bypassing the US dollar entirely. This isn't just a matter of convenience, it's a declaration of financial independence. China's currency swap agreements are becoming a critical piece of its economic diplomacy. Through these agreements, China is creating a parallel financial system that reduces the world's dependence on the dollar. It's a straightforward transaction with massive implications. To put it simply, these deals are allowing countries to trade directly in their own currencies, cutting out the middleman, the US dollar, and avoiding the economic risks that come with reliance on a foreign currency. But this is much bigger than just financial logistics. The drive to bypass the dollar is a direct challenge to the global economic order that has existed since World War II. China's intent is clear. It wants to undermine the US dollar's hegemony, while offering an alternative that reflects China's growing influence on the world stage. The stakes are enormous. China's currency swap agreements are more than just a means of conducting trade. They are part of a much broader strategic vision to establish the Chinese yuan as a leading global currency. These swaps are the backbone of a growing coalition of countries that are pushing back against the dollar's dominance. China has already signed over 40 currency swap agreements with countries across the globe, with a total value.
There you go, Luke. 40, 40 they're not using the dollar on. All those monies come back to the U.S. That's massive inflation because there's more, the money's been printed, has been sent out, is now coming back. So that's what BRICS is doing. They're just bypassing the dollar, saying we're not interested. Where is the one with the banks? Anyway, there's one where the lady is going in to get her money out of the bank, and they won't let her have the money. I just played it. So BRICS is definitely killing the dollar. Here's a good one on socialism and capitalism. Thomas Sowell rips this apart. Let's watch this again. I showed it yesterday.
I'm probably the only person online who shares every single one of my trades completely for free.
Capitalism.
Luke. About to hit the sir. Hoping I come back from EU and have a higher gold silver price. Have a good week. Okay, Luke, have a safe trip, safe flight, and enjoy France. And check out the gold and silver prices there. You definitely will have a higher. It'll hit 3,100 Monday or Tuesday, and we're on our way to 3,500 and on our way to 5,000. It'll just keep growing because nobody's going to sell their gold to get back into dollars. So it's more people buying gold and silver than selling it. Silver won't go up yet, but it will soon. So here's this thing on I played it yesterday, but I think it's important. It's between socialism and capitalism.
To me, it's an ideology of capital. It puts capital, the most important thing is the concentration of capital, and it means that we seek and prioritize profit and the accumulation of money above all else, and we seek it at any human and environmental cost. That is what that means. And to me, that ideology is not sustainable and cannot be redeemed.
Let me start with something I've said for years. People who think they can remake the world to suit their visions usually end up breaking it instead. Ms. Ocasio-Cortez's statement is a textbook example of that, a stew of buzzwords and moral posturing that collapses under the weight of facts and history. She's not describing capitalism. She's caricaturing it, and badly. Let's take this apart piece by piece because there's too much ignorance here to let it slide. First, she calls capitalism an ideology of capital that prioritizes profit above all else. That's a slogan, not an analysis. Capitalism isn't about worshiping money. It's about voluntary exchange. People trade goods, services, and ideas because both sides benefit, not because someone's hoarding a pile of gold. Wealth isn't concentrated like some cosmic injustice. It's created. Take Henry Ford. He didn't steal his fortune. He built cars millions could afford, revolutionizing transportation and employing thousands. Or look at Steve Jobs. Apple's innovations didn't concentrate wealth. They generated it, lifting living standards worldwide. The World Bank says global extreme poverty fell from 36% in 1990 to under 10% by 2019. Over 1 billion people lifted up, not by socialism's promises, but by markets spreading opportunity. Compare that to Venezuela. Under socialist rule since 1999, GDP per capita crashed over 60% by 2020. Inflation hit 1.7 million percent in 2018, and people starved while oil wealth vanished. That's not sustainability. That's collapse. She says capitalism seeks profit at any human and environmental cost. That's another myth. Greed exists in every system. Socialism just redirects it to power instead of money. Capitalists profit by meeting demands, not destroying lives. The U.S. went from 94% extreme poverty in 1800 to 1% today because markets drove innovation, electricity, medicine, sanitation, not because of government edicts. Socialist regimes, the Soviet Union's ROC shrank 90% from forced irrigation schemes, man-made ecological disaster. China's Great Leap Forward killed 30 to 45 million and left scarred landscapes. Socialism's the one with the body count, human and environmental. AOC implies wealth accumulation comes at others' expense. Nonsense. It's not a zero-sum game. Hong Kong had no resources in 1945. By 1997, its per capita GDP topped $36,000, higher than Britain's, through free markets. Singapore's went from $500 in 1965 to $82,000. Today, wealth grew. It didn't steal from anyone. Socialism's alternative? Cuba's average wage is $30 a month after 60 years of fairness. The Soviet Union's GDP per capita peaked at $7,000, while the U.S. hit $20,000 by the 1980s. Socialism doesn't spread wealth, it spreads misery. And this unredeemable line, she's enjoying capitalism's fruits, her iPhone, her Netflix, her congressional salary, while decrying it. Hypocrisy aside, socialism's the one with no redemption. Every try, Venezuela, Cuba, the USSR, ends in rationing, stagnation, and tyranny. Why? It ignores reality. But here's what she misses, and I've said this for decades. First, capitalism isn't about concentrating wealth. It creates it, and society benefits. The top 1% pay 40% of U.S. taxes, $600 billion a year, funding roads, schools, hospitals. Second, government can't eliminate poverty. It redistributes it, stifling the innovation that actually solves it. The U.S. spent $22 trillion on welfare since the 60s. Poverty's still here. Markets cut global poverty in half in 25 years. Third, socialism fails everywhere, not from bad execution, but because it denies scarcity in human nature. People work for incentives, not slogans. Mrs. Ocasio-Cortez can clutch her pearls all she wants, but history's not a suggestion, it's a warning. Capitalism's lifted more people than her ideology ever will. She'd see that if she traded her rhetoric for a ledger and some numbers.
just as there's all of this fear mongering that government is going to take over every corporation and government is going to take over every business or every form of production, we should be scared right now because corporations have taken over our government. And in my opinion, we should be wary of any entity in which both of those things are combined, whether it's through one way or the other. And that's why the emphasis in democratic socialism is on democracy. And it's not about, it's just as much a transformation about bringing democracy to the workplace so that we have a say and that we don't check all of our rights at the door every time we cross the threshold into our workplace. Because at the end of the day, as workers and as people of society, we're the ones creating wealth, not a corporate CEO. It's not a CEO that's actually creating $4 billion a year. It is the millions of workers in this country that's creating billions of dollars of economic productivity a year. And our system should reflect that.
Mrs. Ocasio-Cortez keeps piling on the rhetoric, but still light on facts and heavy on fantasy. This idea of democratic socialism and workplace democracy sounds noble. Who doesn't like democracy? But it's a recipe for economic disaster wrapped in a feel-good slogan. Let's cut through the noise and deal with reality because that's what matters. She says workers alone create wealth and CEOs are just parasites skimming the profits. That's a fairy tale. Wealth isn't conjured up by labor in a vacuum. It's the product of capital, risk, and vision working together. Take a company like Ford. Workers built the cars, sure, but Henry Ford invented the assembly line, invested his savings, and took the gamble when 90% of new businesses fail. U.S. Census data shows over half collapse within 5 years. CEOs aren't sitting in ivory towers twirling mustaches. They're making decisions. Where to invest, what to produce, how to compete. Jeff Bezos didn't steal Amazon's $4 billion in annual profit. He built a system that employs 1.5 million people and delivers value worldwide. Workers matter, but without capital and leadership, there's no factory, no jobs, no wealth. Socialism's tried her experiment. Soviet collective farms run by workers produced famine. 5 to 10 million dead in 1921 to 22 because no one's accountable when everyone's in charge. Venezuela's state-run oil industry, once a global powerhouse, now pumps less than Iraq under sanctions. Output's down 75% since 1999. Labor without direction is chaos, not productivity. Labor without direction is chaos, not productivity. Then there's this workplace democracy notion that businesses should be run like town halls. Businesses aren't governments, they're voluntary associations. You don't vote on how to build a car, you do it efficiently or lose to someone who does. Imagine voting on every decision at Apple. The markets would still be flip phones. Markets reward merit and results, not feelings. Yugoslavia tried worker-managed firms in the 20th century. Productivity tanked, inflation soared, and the system crumbled by the 90s. Why? No one risked their own skin in a collective. Incentives vanish. Capitalism's voluntary exchange. Workers trade labor for wages. Owners risk capital for profit. Beats utopian experiments every time. Now, her claim that corporations have taken over government, that's half right, but she's got the wrong villain. Free markets don't cause cronyism. Government overreach does. When politicians control $4 trillion in annual spending, 20% of U.S. GDP, corporations lobby for favors. That's not capitalism, it's corporatism. A distortion of markets by the state. Look at the 2008 bailouts. Banks got handouts because government picked winners, not because markets demanded it. Hong Kong thrived with a 15% tax rate and minimal meddling. Per capita, GDP hit 49,000 by 2020. Singapore's at 82,000. Contrast that with socialist meddling. Venezuela's government owns everything, yet 96% of its people live in poverty today, per NCOV data. The threat isn't corporations, it's bureaucrats with too much power. Let me wrap this up with 3 truths she keeps dodging. First, wealth comes from capital, risk-taking, and labor combined, not labor alone. Workers need tools and direction. CEOs provide them. Second, the real danger isn't corporate power. It's government intervention that rigs the game, creating cronyism socialism loves to exploit. Third, businesses run on voluntary exchange, not workplace democracy. Force that, and you kill efficiency and innovation. Look at history. East Germany's Trabants versus West Germany's BMWs. One side voted with its feet over the wall. So Ocasio-Cortez wants a system that reflects her vision. Reality doesn't bend divisions, it breaks them. She'd see that if she looked at the numbers instead of the mirror.
You can pull bids, you can play games. They're not selling, they're buying it.
See, this is the problem I have with government people. They're not qualified to do their job. She's not qualified. She's not a capitalist. She's not a socialist. She sounds like a socialist, but she has no idea what she's talking about. This is what I worry about, that you listen to somebody like this who has no idea what they're talking about, and that's how you learn, and that's what I try to avoid. That's why so many people are socialists, because they just see the handout. Oh, I don't have to work and I get money. Oh, that's what a great system. Well, it's only if somebody's producing money to give you their money so you can have the handout. It's much better to be capitalist, where you have the idea, you build your skill set, you make money, you can retire, you can have a good life with the money you made from the skill you developed, and let the entrepreneur keep building computers and iPhones and, baseball cards and whatever else. And that's what it's about. So I will leave you with this at 2.5 hours. I'm time to go to the pool. Anyway, gold will keep going, because now that they have to settle and pay for the delivery, they need gold for the delivery, the physical. And so there'll be a lot less shorts, because they can't come up with the gold. It's gone. All the gold's done now. It's all gone secondary. And so with that being the case, why would you do a short where somebody's going to ask for payment in physical delivery and you don't have it, the physical? You're going to lose your ass on it. Secondly, anybody buying gold, or most of the central banks, aren't selling it for dollars. They're holding it on. They're just buying it and putting it in their vaults, and it's not coming out. And me and you are buying ounces and whatever we can buy, and it ain't leaving. We're not selling it. Even if we did sell it, it wouldn't really matter. It's more the big Russians and China, 20, 30, 60,000 tons of it, who are more setting the price. But remember, the price is set by the derivatives, by JP Morgan. It is not set by the market. That's why silver's sitting at 34 instead of 350. We know the real value of silver's up here, which is probably about $1,000, and you can get it for 30. And it's just buy as much as you can eat. Just keep buying it. As long as you have dollars and you can pay your bills and your expenses, everything left over than that, just keep buying silver. Doesn't matter how much you have. All I know is when silver goes up $100 and you got 1,000 ounces, you just made, what'd you make? $100,000, more than that, I think. You made a lot, put it this way. So I have 700 ounces. So if it goes up $100, I make $70,000. So if you have 1,000 ounces and it goes up $100, you make I think, what would it be? $100,000? No, you make $1 million. So if you have 1,000 ounces, it goes up 100, you make $1 million. You're going to be making millions, because it's going up to 1,000 an ounce from 30 once it gets going, and the banks are going to crumble because of all their derivatives. They got to cover the silver, and they're 30,000 tons short. And so don't be frustrated. Why hasn't it moved? Just understand the game. You just keep buying it, because it will break. Eventually, there's too much demand. They're going to have to pay up, and that'll be it. And the demand for silver will force the price up, just like it's doing with gold. And I will leave you with that. Just buy your silver. Don't worry about COMEX. It's not moving until they blow up COMEX, which is July 1st with the Basel III. Then they have to cover the physical, and that's when the banks go out of business, because they can't cover it. And then it'll be secondary market, and watch the silver price go. So So it will go. It's not going to go up probably till July, but it's a good buying opportunity for us. Just keep buying and buying and buying. And as far as BRICS, BRICS they're all doing these swaps now. There's probably more than 40 countries. That means they're not using the dollar. They're just trading between countries, which is crazy because their dollars aren't worth anything. Anyway, the yuan and the Indian rupee are both worthless. So I don't know what that is, but eventually that goes to the gold-backed currency, and the dollar's gone. And so don't have trust in that. It's gone. So you want gold, you want silver, and just kick back and physical, not ETFs, not stocks, not any of that bullshit. Just take and go buy physical. And that's what you need to do. Anyway, that's it. So college basketball today, there's 2 games. I took Florida over 158 against who's Florida playing? Michigan State, I think. No. Michigan State's tomorrow. Who's playing? Florida's got Texas Tech, so I went over 158 with Florida, and Alabama's playing Duke. I went over 174. Looks like Alabama scores 100 on everybody. Duke played out Arizona to a high-scoring game, and Alabama will do the same. So look for very high-score game in Alabama-Duke. Duke's laying 7.5. I don't know enough to take Alabama in 7.5. And then the first game, Florida, Texas Tech. More than likely, I think Florida will cover. But, again, I'm going to go over 158. Florida scores 100 in a lot of games. So let's assume, in the way these games are going, there's a lot of scoring. So those are the 2 games for tonight. Nothing in football. Aaron Rodgers still waiting to go. And that's about it. Gold's off today, gold and silver. They come back tomorrow night when China takes over at about 6 o'clock. And that's about it. So good luck if you're betting the basketball today. Go buy your gold coins and your silver coins. My guy's open till 3, but I'm not buying today. Monday, supposedly this whole buy your silver to do a short squeeze, that's not going to work. You can go buy silver, but it's not going to work. I'd almost wait till like Wednesday to buy if you were going to buy. Really just watch COMEX. It's $34. Just, it's maybe it goes to 33 something, but it's probably not going to go much lower. And then it's a steal even if you bought it now at 36, it's a steal. You can't lose in it. It's not going down anywhere anytime soon. We're on to that game. You're welcome, New Wine. Have a nice weekend. Enjoy. Here, I think it's finally getting warmer out. I mean, we're only going into April. It's still like 30 degrees outside. I'll hit the pool. I think Chinese tonight. And that's about it. So, Luke, when are we going to Capitol Grill? And Bobby, where the hell are you? When are we going to Capitol Grill? We're supposed to go at 3,000. Anybody else wants to go? Let me know, and we'll arrange some sort of meet and greet at a Capitol Grill and enjoy and celebrate gold at 3,000, and then we'll do it again at 3,500, and then at 5,000, and we'll be eating at Capitol Grill a lot. Anyway, just keep in mind it's a kind of a hidden thing. If you have 50 ounces of gold every $100, so from 2,800 to 29, you just made $5,000 for doing nothing. So it just went up $400. So you just made $20,000 just because you bought inventory. It's a beautiful thing. All right. Keep that in mind. All right. Have a wonderful day. www.teaserking.com. If you want to get a hold of me, email me there. You get my email there. And Prophet, I got to respond to your email, and that's about it. So go enjoy your day. Buy your gold and silver, and you can just sit and relax. Gold market, the stock market's crashing, the money's crashing. I wouldn't hold Bitcoin. It's all going, all the paper money is going down because it's not worth anything. All right. Thank you very much. Have a good day. Enjoy.